This may sound crazy. Let's get into it. Hi, my crazy cronies. This is your host, Ashley. Thank you for tuning into This May Sound Crazy. I am here with Carol Mclean. She's a certified neuro transformational coach and Akashic record practitioner, spiritual advisor for me and one of my friends. Hi, Carol.
Hi, what a lovely introduction. I didn't know I was so talented.
Of course, imposter syndrome is a thing, right?
Absolutely.
You moved from Dublin to Canada at 19. What gave you the courage?
I didn't actually know at the time that I was being courageous. It just seemed something that I was propelled to do. And I never looked back. I should have picked somewhere a little warmer, but Canada's been really good to me. It has been a great life for me, and it freed me from ancestral stuff when I was living in Ireland. So it was a very freeing experience.
You came over with $200, right?
I came over with $200 and two suitcases at that time. Listen up, airlines. You could bring two suitcases. And that's what I had. So my life was $200 and two suitcases. It was at a time, though, that it was so easy to find work. You would walk down the street, and at that time, you had written applications. So I'm dating myself. And you would just put in your application, and by the time you got home, boom, you had a job.
You were in accounting first, right?
Yes, and how did I do it? It was a very lucrative business and I was very successful. I loved my clients, but I absolutely detested the work. It's important for anyone listening. Do your accounting.
Yeah, I could use you now. Numbers are more fun in numerology, in my opinion.
Yes, it showed me what I love and afforded me a good lifestyle and funds to take the training to do what I love, which
Yeah.
was in the spiritual realm. I love people and I love showing people their potential.
You have definitely helped me. I met you in 2020. My aunt actually gifted me a reading. I appreciate you for following me this far. It's been 5 years and we've stayed in contact. When I was about to move from Florida to Austin, and you were like, not much a city girl, but there's enough water and hiking for you to do there. You said that when you moved, you had a dream that you needed to be by highways, right?
I forgot about that. I had never been to North America. I grew up in Ireland, and at that time they had no highways. They do now, but not nowhere near as big as the highways here. I very vividly saw these highways, and this was before I actually decided to come to Canada and having no experience of Canada, no visuals.
Mm-hmm.
There was no internet at that time.
Right.
For your age group, it's like, what? You had to go blind. Spirit has always guided me where I needed to go. Most recently, I took a trip to Spain. That was pure magic. I didn't know why I was going, but I had this compulsion to go. Spirit obviously wanted me to go there. And I experienced many magical things. I would love to encourage you and other people, whatever those little nudges are, pay attention. Sometimes
Yeah.
we dismiss them,
Yeah.
and sometimes they can be life changing.
I'm definitely a jumper when it comes to that. I'm like, oh, I want to shop. And then boom, it happens. Or I'm like, oh, I want to go train dogs and I'm pulled to California. I did that for a while. I think it's important for other people to listen to their intuition because a lot of people think that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
To have more of a concrete plan, but it's actually the nuances in between. Because you said a guy paid for, what did he pay for? Your hotel?
No, I'm going to try and bottom line this. I set
Yeah.
up a container, an energetic container for my trip because I was traveling alone and I don't remember the last time I traveled alone. So it was
Yeah.
obviously a long time ago, maybe coming to Canada.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Yeah.
And so I was going from Madrid to the airport to the train station, and it's all in Spanish, and I can't figure out which train, subway, whatever.
Mhm.
And this guy, because my credit card, I was tapping and it wasn't working, he paid for my ticket. So he was a young guy, and I was all flustered because I didn't have cash to pay him back. what I offered him was that I hope something magical happens to him and he pauses and notices it. Sometimes magic happens and we don't even notice.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing with grounding, paying attention to signs in your body and your dreams and all of that. It's easy to
Yeah.
get caught up with you were about to travel, right? So your mind's already at the airport, but it's that moment that actually brought you more present and realized the magic of this other country and this other person. So it's beautiful.
And it's amazing what can happen when you open yourself up to the magic, when you believe. I was just having this conversation with a group I was teaching yesterday. People say, I'll believe it when I see it.
Mhm.
I think you need to believe it, then you will see it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cost you anything to believe.
Mhm.
So believe, and then you're going to see all this magic happen. And believe in yourself as well. I'm teaching a group of people psychometry last night, which is reading objects. And they were an all age group.
Uh-huh.
And they all did amazing. You don't have to have a special gift or a special lineage to
Mhm.
do this work that I do.
Right.
It's just practice, play, believe, and yeah, it'll
So I
happen.
know you said you started the podcast that I posted, but at the end, Nava actually says, believe, believe, believe you can do this, believe in all this, believe. That was her message to my followers and everyone. So, synchronicities. What are the Akashic records?
So basically, it's not a physical book, it's an energetic book, Akashic Records of your lifetimes. It can be all of your lifetimes are stored in this book in an energetic library. And you'll see in most traditions, you'll hear about the book of life. In every different tradition, they have their interpretation of the Akashic records.
Hmm.
So it is a hall of records, energetic records that I, with your permission, go and pull your records and speak to the record keepers about whatever about you, the way I work. They bring through information for you. I do ask you ahead of time to think of some questions
Mhm.
that you might want to have answered. Most of the times, the Akashic record keepers will answer before you
Every
ask your
time
question.
for me. Yeah. The way that I picture the Akashic records visually is there's a scene in Interstellar that he's in this energetic library and pushing through the bookcase on the other side, which was future telling the past some signs. We had talked about too of like pushing books through. I've had books pop out of bookshelves before. I've had them pushed out. My sisters have that, and you have too, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that what got you from accounting to?
to spiritual
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
I'll share the story. I had a business coach for my accounting practice, and he had given me a list of books to get. I went to the library to get the books,
Mhm.
and
There's
one
no
of the
internet. Yeah.
yes, no internet back then. But they might have been, it might have been just no, it was no internet. So this book popped out and landed on the floor. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take it home. It wasn't on my list. And I started to read it. It was James Van Praagh, Talking to Heaven. When I opened the first page, I heard in my head, you can do this.
Hmm.
And so at that time, it didn't make any sense to me because I'm like, I'm in accounting. Does
Yeah.
it make sense to have a spiritual accountant or energetic accountant?
Yeah.
But it was the catalyst for my spiritual birthing, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
reawakening. Some people, their life shifts through tragedy,
Hmm.
maybe lose somebody very close to them, and then they
Spiritual
go
awakening.
towards
Yeah.
spiritual, yeah, or have an awakening. And some people, for me, it was a book on the floor.
I know.
And
I was just thinking that. I'm like, wow, I went to the insane asylum twice, but you just had a book about how nice.
yeah, yeah. I think also there's no way but your own way to get there. Thank goodness you got there, right?
Right.
Because it is a huge asset to have this
Yeah.
work. You can still live in the real world and you have the bonus of accessing other realms.
Right. Right. Do things still shock you to this day? Or are you just like, I've heard it all? Not all.
No,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when I first started listening to people, listening to speakers, doing different spiritual development, I'd hear some stuff that I was super, super skeptical about,
Yeah. Yeah.
like ETs and off planetary. And I was like, I'm not sure if I believe in that. And then over time, I found I would be giving readings and I would be telling people, oh, you're an extraterrestrial. And I'm like, Carol doesn't believe that. But it was
Filter. Yeah.
coming through
Yeah.
from the record keeper. So it really made me, just like the message for you today was expand your beliefs.
Yeah.
It's so good to just continually explore. You
Yeah.
don't have to believe everything. Healthy skepticism is great.
Mhm.
And also to not be the person that goes, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't
Mhm.
believe, because chances are you're going to end up with mud on your face.
I know. Yeah, God, I get chills when we're talking about this because everything I'm thinking you're saying. Because this book, it's called Reality Unveiled. It was a book kind of talking about metaphysical and the scientific aspect of energy. But each book said like an outlandish topic, like something that's
Yeah.
not for everyone to believe. And so each chapter went through, it was like reincarnation, signing up for this life, soul contracts. And then it got to aliens. And I was like, my mind kind of stopped there. But this was 10 years ago. So it's funny because the more I learn, the less I know, and the more open I am to it. So this is eventually going to turn into a book. And it's going to be a similar thing to that, where we talk about these different concepts, right? And you don't have to know this now, but it's here whenever you want to come back and access that. Because most of the time, you will eventually get into that crazy situation and you'll be like, oh, I remember someone already had gone through this.
Yeah. And I love what you said. The more you know, the less you know. I think that's so important for people to understand, because it also creates opening in you.
Mhm.
Like, I'm open to learn more rather than a closed mind,
Mhm.
because there's magic, there's crazy, there's things like fairies,
Yeah,
we can't say, no, they don't exist.
right.
No, that doesn't, like, we don't know definitively. Some people have had very close encounters with fairies, gnomes, and extraterrestrials.
Uh-huh.
And we don't want to discount. We might not be ready to hear it yet,
Right,
but
right.
down the road, you might.
Yeah, not to get too crazy to scare people off so soon. Someone came in the shop last week and she was like, I'm connected to the fairy realm. And I'm like, I'm connected to the witch realm. I've met someone who was like, I was a mermaid before. It was this man at a bar
Yeah.
where we started talking and he spilled that out. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy, but this is true to you and I believe you.
Yeah, I think that's so affirming in a way, like rather than to be dismissive, because you don't know that other person's experience
Hmm.
and you just have to witness it.
Yeah.
Don't have to be a mermaid with them.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right, right. What is the craziest extraterrestrial situation that has come through for someone?
What I love about the Akashic records is the person's soul recognizes the truth. I may say something and your soul will react if it's the truth. So for
Yeah.
this person was feeling very misunderstood in life.
Uh-huh.
And what came through was like, you're an extraterrestrial. She goes, oh my God, I've always felt that. But
Yeah.
you saying it gave me confirmation. No wonder I'm trying to fit in with humans on a 3D level, but
Right.
actually, I'm an off planet being.
Uh-huh.
For me to bring that through, especially that I didn't at that time really believe
Yeah, yeah.
100%
Yeah.
that this is true. I hadn't encountered
Yeah.
extraterrestrials. I found it coming out of my mouth, but her soul reacted.
Uh-huh.
So, in a way, that's the information coming through me.
Uh-huh.
And it's so important that I be as clear a channel as I can be, because I could have put my filter on that
Right.
and we never would have said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they can interpret it however they want to. the more that you learn, the more that maybe you accept that as being true. So people
Yeah.
say star seeds a lot now. That's a common buzzword. Like an extraterrestrial person.
I have a friend studying a healing modality that was downloaded from aliens,
Okay.
and it's super effective. Now, my current thought is that the aliens are very evolved beings.
Mhm.
I believe we have nothing to fear from them, that they are good. They're standing by just watching what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And
I would
some
stay away too. Yeah.
but then also in a reading that came through a couple of weeks ago, it was there are Lemurians walking and living amongst us
Mhm.
and Atlanteans. So I assume they're extraterrestrials because we live in 3D and our minds are limited. We don't see those people, yet they're living at the
Yeah.
same time in the same place as
Do you
us.
mean physically we don't see them?
Physically, we don't see them. There was a study, and I don't know where the pygmy indigenous people live,
Mhm.
but they had never seen, I think it was ships or something. So whoever the researcher was showing them this out on the ocean, they couldn't see them. So
Mhm.
it kind of said we don't see what we haven't experienced. For me, I'm starting to believe the
Mhm.
new world is here now.
Right.
We can choose to be in that new world, or we can choose to be in this 3D reality.
Mhm.
I think beings that are more open are living amongst us
Mhm.
in this new reality. We just need to step into that.
What I've been reading is that we are shifting from the third to the fifth dimension in general. So I was actually going to ask you, like, are some people going to stay in the third? Is it going to be a split, or is everyone just going to have to change and shift?
Interesting. I just did a reading on this. I was shown the tarot card, the Tower.
Mm,
You look at the tower and the roof is exploding and there's two people falling. One is terrified. The other looks like resignation or acceptance.
mhm,
I feel the new world is here and our work as light workers
mhm,
is to work with the people that already somewhat believe.
mhm.
Why spend your energy with the terrified?
Done that.
And
Yeah.
they showed me a saying or poem where this kid was throwing the starfish back into the water.
Mhm,
And some elder gentleman said to him, "Why are you doing that? There's thousands of them. It won't matter." He said, "Well, it matters to that one."
mhm,
When I was in the Akashic records, they showed me that visual and said, "Don't try and save all.
mhm.
Focus on the ones that you know
Are ready to
it
make that
doesn't
shift.
matter. We're
Yeah.
already, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you stick your finger in your eye trying to convince someone that's not
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah.
hear? If we shift, and when, no, not if, when we shift, because that's what I'm hearing, they're correcting.
Yeah.
When we shift into the fifth dimension, and there are 9 dimensions, so we're
Oh,
shifting into
okay.
the fifth dimension, we will be still on this earth plane because our minds haven't grown that much
Uh-huh.
until we experience it. We're like the people that can't see the boats.
Yeah.
And we will be living on this earth plane, but the people that choose to stay in the 3D won't be able to see us.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like.
Interesting.
And some of the information that was brought through in this reading was because we always want to know, what's it look like? When's it happening? What's my role? It gave me a lot of peace. Is your brain hasn't grown enough capacity
Hmm.
to hold what is going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not able to form the questions, like your questions aren't big enough
Yeah.
see what's going to happen. So it was almost like, why struggle? Because you're grasping. What's it going to be like? When's it going to happen? You are on this earth plane at this time. You're waking up or you're awake, and you will be called to do what you need to do. No stress about,
Yeah.
I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to reach 1,000 people with my message or
Right.
whatever it is. Just know that when you take action, you're being called by a higher force.
Mhm.
It's like your turn now. Maybe that's what your podcast is.
It is. Me and my therapist talked about it because she's like, what do you think that's happening in the world? How are you affected by that? And I was like, I can't control that, right? If I try to live in that, that's me living in a lower vibrational field of something that I can't control. What I can control is me and being my most authentic self and inspiring the people around me, hoping that the flap of a butterfly wing not creates a tsunami, but that type of change, you know?
Yeah. Well, they say one light worker, and I don't know who they are, one light worker impacts up to 1,000 people.
Mm, yeah.
So the more we hold the vibration of light, which feels a lot better being down in the mud,
Yeah.
we're raising the energy of the earth, and the
Uh-huh.
earth needs that now. We're almost at this tipping point where
Yeah.
there's more light workers than there are people holding on to crumbling systems.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing I answered to my therapist. I'm like, they're going to implode. I'm just waiting. Hopefully not in like a war situation, but it's going to crumble, you know? And it's just like anything, like any lesson that you're learning, the old constructs of what you believed crumble for you to shed your skin and turn into that new person in that next chapter, right?
Yeah, I love that. Just allowing it to crumble,
Hmm.
because the more we hang on to something, the longer we keep the energy here.
Right.
It's just allowing this to crumble, because when we lose something, traditionally we build back better because you remember the good parts.
Hmm. Yeah.
So my hope is the good parts are the humans, which the focus should always be on the humans
Mhm.
rather than where the focus is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's the closest I want to get to politics ever, to
yeah.
be honest. Going back to what you said, you read inanimate objects because everything has a vibration. Can you read the Akashic records on inanimate objects?
Basically, when I read inanimate objects, it's usually psychic readings. Although I will say I call in my guides, angels, ancestors, because they also have an influence.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily go to the Akashic records because I don't have the permission of that object. But
Hmm.
that object, first of all, can't give me permission, but it does by showing up.
Yeah.
So if it's a ring and if it's your ring, and I don't know it's your ring, and it's best to not know
Hmm.
who's, for someone starting out, it's great to play with.
Hmm.
So you pick it up and you just feel, what am I feeling?
Yeah.
And chances are you're 90% right.
Yeah.
Science hasn't caught up with that yet
Huh.
because I was looking to see what is the science behind it.
Hmm.
And I had a group of 14 people and they all did amazing. Science says we're not ready to understand that yet or spend money on that, researching it.
Yeah.
But if I look at it anecdotally, it works.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a vintage shop and people always want to know the story behind pieces. And I'm like, oh, I got it from Goodwill. Or like, I don't really have a story, but they want to know who owned this and this, that, and the other. I've had Akashic records opened on actually this couch I'm sitting on before. So it was just fun to kind of play around with that, especially in both fields that I'm doing now.
I love that because somebody was talking about going into an antique store.
Yeah.
They're super sensitive, so they could feel the energies of people who owned the furniture before.
Yeah.
And sometimes it depends on how sensitive you are. That can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it's always good to send those folks on their way. Thank you. I have your furniture. I will take good care of it. Bye bye. You don't need to be here. I think you could actually even read the energy of some of the objects in your store yourself. Like you could do that, pick it up and say,
Yeah.
what I'm getting.
I used to not listen to this, but now if I'm talking to a customer, an object will keep saying, mention me, mention me. And then when I mention it to them, they either had just put it down or they were thinking about it or it reminded them of something. So I've had fun playing around, listening to my intuition with other people and the object.
Amazing. Then it finds the right home, right? In my perspective, it's also searching for a home
Yeah.
and it knows this is a good person.
Yeah. That's what everyone is always like, I wouldn't be able to get rid of this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but I get to enjoy it until it finds its next home, you know? I'm very particular about what I keep in my space because that pulls my energy too. So I'm intentional. I don't need to have all this. It's not hoarding if you have a store.
Yeah. But you're helping that object find a good home and you're helping the person find the perfect object for their home.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Dopamine
you're like a
decor.
foster mama.
Yeah, exactly. I went from dogs to now inanimate objects.
Yeah.
If society was to put a label on you, what do you think they would put?
Well, it's in your podcast. Crazy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do feel that's shifting because I find over time, and I would never share a lot of what I was doing with people because fear of being judged
Hmm.
and ridiculed. And then I reached a place where I thought it's freeing to be the crazy one
Hmm.
because then you can really play with people's heads.
Yeah.
I'm a trickster, like I love to
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
So it was so freeing to come out as the crazy one. And then I found once I owned my own crazy,
Uh-huh.
I was accepted more for the work that I did.
Right.
And then when I bring through crazy stuff, it was almost like people would believe it because they knew me. They got to know me and,
Yeah.
well, why not? Right?
It's only crazy until they need advice, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny you say that because it's some people that will be really cautious or suspicious.
Mhm.
And then you see little by little, they start to change their mind. So I have a very scientific friend who was a nurse who didn't believe anything about energy work.
Yeah.
And I'd tell her anyway, like, oh, I do therapeutic touch in hospice.
Ex-
And her son knew my daughter. And he said at one time, I don't know if my mother is changing or your mother is changing, but my mother seems more open to what your mother is saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, normalizing people's experience, because if you
Yeah.
tell them something, they'll go, oh, that happened to me, but I completely dismissed it.
Yeah.
They
Sometimes
go,
you have to hear it from 5 different people, right? uh,
absolutely.
me and my sister had talked about this. She's like, I can come with you until a point, and then what are you saying or doing? But recently, she said she met someone who's very spiritual and finally understood part of what I was saying. And I was like, if it took her to say that, I have no ego involved, and that is great as long as it came some way.
Yeah, you get a tap and you get a knock, and then you get the 2x4 and reality. So you don't believe, or you hear something, and so that's the tap on the shoulder, and you discount it,
Yeah.
and then you get it. Yeah, and then it's like, bang.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe this now.
Yeah. It'll force you to, that's for sure. So we opened my Akashic records and we opened the podcast records. Is there anything coming through right now that you want to share or they want to share?
So what I'm hearing from the Akashic Record Keepers are these two, you and the podcast are entwined
Mm-hmm.
and you're meant to be together. And what I'm hearing is the podcast is going to educate you as much as you're going to educate the podcast. It's almost the podcast is going to take on a life force of its own,
Mm-hmm.
and it will feed you ideas as much as you think you're feeding it ideas or you have ideas for what needs to be created next.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a partnership has been created between the two of you And the energy between the two of you is going to build. When I opened the records for you, it was about you getting grounded and becoming fully present,
Right.
so that you're hearing the energy, the suggestions from the podcast to
Mhm.
you. It's
Yeah.
almost as if the podcast was a human. 'Cause
It's my
it
best
has,
friend, obviously.
right, and it has desires and wishes
Yeah.
of what it wants to have out through the world. So what I'm hearing, and again, like this is stretching my imagination, is it's like an intelligence force. So
Mm.
it's a force of its own. So now it's almost like you have a twin. But I don't think you have a twin, right?
Mm-mm.
Your sister's not your twin.
No. You know what, though? My dad donated sperm when he was going to med school, and I've met all
Yeah.
these other siblings since in the past 5 years, actually. Since 2020, the first one came out, and now there's like 12 altogether. The ones that call my dad bio dad, and then the ones that were raised by my dad.
Oh, that's pretty neat. What a
Yeah.
story. And that's probably something else for your
Yeah,
podcast.
they're gonna be on at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
So who
interesting.
knows if I have a twin? No, I don't think I have a twin.
No, but I think what I'm hearing is the podcast is your twin for now.
Okay.
So, and you know how twins have that connection, like when something happens to one, the other intuitively knows. This is what they're saying the relationship between you will be.
Yeah.
You will know what's needed, and they will know what's needed from you to create a successful podcast.
Yeah. Where do we see this going?
What they're showing me right now is expand your horizons because it is not contained by borders.
Mm.
You're living in North America, it's not even by continents.
Mhm.
It's allowing this to go wherever it needs to go.
Mhm.
And I want to say now what they're reminding me of, and we will do a session on this, is a soul agreement activation to
Yeah.
actually give it more juice.
Yeah.
See, sending it out to wherever it needs to go. So that's something that we can do together.
Yeah.
You know, your soul sending it out, because I see it not restricted to North American and South American
Yeah.
continent, that it will cross water.
Hopefully
So
it already
again,
has. I met some people in my Croatian trip and I sent them the podcast.
oh, so yes, I feel like that's a good example of expansion. And oh, this is what they're saying. If your brain isn't big enough, and they're acknowledging you that you do have a lot of stimulation and great creative ideas,
Mhm.
it's bigger than that. It's bigger than what you have a concept of.
I love that. Yay.
Yeah. They're showing me a timeline for you, like if you would create a timeline.
Mhm.
What do you want to have happen over the next, they're saying 2 to 3 years? Get really clear and spend time in, if this was wildly successful for you, what does that look like?
Mhm.
And also on an energetic level, so that you're not frazzled by this success.
Mhm.
What does that look like for you? I do see a road. And so even if you do, I don't know if you have a visual, but just to plot the road and almost have road markers for what you want to have happen with this, what the journey is going to look like.
Mhm.
They're reminding you that you're not alone driving this,
Yeah.
that you also have support
Mhm.
from the angelic realm, from your ancestors. Check back in your ancestry if you had any literary relatives or anyone that wrote. I feel like there's ancestors that support. At that time, it would have been newspapers or books or periodicals or whatever.
Mhm.
But they're wanting to support your success in this, because a podcast is a new form book, newspaper, periodical.
Yeah.
It's just like when we had the Sunday newspaper, there was
Mhm.
always creative articles written. So
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. We're related to Mary Shelley, who created Frankenstein.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was like through marriage or a bloodline, you know?
Well, even if it was through marriage, she would be part of your ancestral
True.
lineage.
Yeah.
How I like to work with the ancestors, especially if you're trying to create something, is to call in the ancestors that have done their work.
Mm,
And I see clearly you have in your ancestral lineage ones that have done their work and are supporting what you're birthing.
yeah.
And they want to support you. So they want to see you succeed.
Yeah. When I had a reading for Nava with the dog psychic, the witch lineage came through and they started talking to my aunts about who they think that they were talking about. And then we found this photo.
Oh my God.
Do you see this one on this side?
Yeah. Yeah. The lady standing behind the person in white.
Yes.
My goodness.
I feel like it's her.
Wow. That's interesting. This is a family photo.
This is a family photo of my grandma's sister, I believe, and her mom. Either way, I feel like this one is my funny ancestor trying to help me.
Yes, when you get extremely quiet, you can envision all of your ancestors on your mother's side, on your father's side, and see them lining up and ask them, like, who has done this type of work before? They'll step out. I want your support. You're calling in the ones that have done their work.
Yeah. You've said this before too. Like if someone's not loud enough or clear enough, you're like, can you step to the back and send me someone else, please?
Yes, I always say that I kick ass more with spirits than I do with humans.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a reading for someone, this is when I was doing mediumship, and their relative would come in and they're very quiet and whispering. I don't have time for that. You need to
Yeah.
find someone I can hear because I don't need to be doing all the work. Like, what? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be an energetic match. They lower their energy, I increase mine, and we
Right.
meet.
Yeah.
I get a little bit irritated if they're not ready on the other side.
Yeah.
And then I kick ass with my gatekeeper saying, only let through people I can hear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You told
So,
me to have British guards energetically outside of my shop, which has actually helped. I used to say that my shop kicks people out, and you were like, well, why are you letting them in? And I was like, huh, I didn't think of that one.
that's so good because we talked about someone that was going into an antique store
Yeah.
and getting overwhelmed. I don't remember what I tell people,
Right.
which
Right.
is good.
Yeah.
But having those guards, they don't allow the spirits to come with their furniture.
Hmm.
So that's so good because then you won't have people that are energy sensitive being put off
Uh-huh.
by all of the energy inside, right? The spirits, and they're kept outside.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Advice from whoever gave you that.
Right? I like how they were British too.
Yeah.
That's a good visual to have.
Yeah.
You also told me the first time that we talked that my past life, that I was from London before.
Oh, okay. Again, I don't remember. It comes through me. For me, it's good because people will say, you told me that. And I'm like, I did.
No, they told me that. I was the
Yeah.
don't shoot
I'm
the
just a
messenger.
human,
Yeah, I'm just
which is,
human.
yeah,
I'm
which
just
is
a
really good
girl.
because, yeah, and it keeps my ego in check because
Yeah.
it's not me.
Yeah.
It's the guides, it's the universe, and anyone can do it. And I think that's what I really want people to walk away with is
Right.
you can do it.
Do they have to go to school for that?
I feel education is important. And also, there's protocols around delivering messages. You don't just
Mhm.
go up to anyone. And also, for your own protection, you need to know when to shut down. You don't want to be bombarded with energies. You know how to turn them off.
Mhm.
And just to empower yourself that ultimately you're the one in control. I
Yeah.
think that's what education gave me,
Yeah.
getting clear on if someone's coming in, when I was doing mediumship, like, how did you die? What do you know about this person? How will this person recognize you? Getting that information is
Hmm.
key for the person coming for the reading. And all of that I got through the training that I did in the UK and the US.
There's both sides to spirit realm, right? The good and the bad.
Yeah, I've made my share of mistakes thinking, oh, I need to tell this person something, and forgot about, wait a minute, there's permission. You can't just go up to someone and tell them whatever because it really blindsides them.
Yeah.
It's like telling someone you don't know, hey, I hate your outfit, or I love, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
It can be very personal. So
yeah.
I think there is a protocol, and that you do learn from either mentoring by someone who's already in the business that's made those mistakes to give you the heads up. This is what's good for you. And for your own energetic preservation, if
Mhm.
you're on all the time, you're going to get drained.
Right, right. Yeah. Is there money in the wall where I'm living?
That's an odd question. Okay, let's read here.
Don't worry, I'm not going to break anything open.
Oh, so the only thing that I'm getting from that, who did release the album The Wall? Who was that? So showing me like this, another brick in the wall. Oh, okay. That's what they're saying to me, another brick in the wall. They're not being definitive. They just showed me those bricks.
Yeah.
There's something in the lyrics that might help you before taking a jackhammer to
Pink
your
Floyd,
wall.
you don't
What?
need no education.
Oh,
You
oh,
don't
so
need no
maybe
thought control, no dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone.
oh, maybe they're answering your question about education. I think if you know the protocols
Yeah.
and you're aware of the protocols and your own energy, maybe they're answering your question. You don't need no education. I spent years and like countless dollars and
Yeah.
pounds
You,
getting my education, if I'm really honest, for me rather than from the other person, because maybe I lacked the confidence.
yeah, yeah.
So I have a belief, they come through with something completely different.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny. So it says the song is a rebellion against the government, against people who have power over you who are wrong.
wow.
Ties back into everything's crumbling. And my last podcast, where Nava, my dog who passed away, always mentions Elvis, who was a rebel. And she
Yeah.
mentions that I'm a rebel. So that works. That makes sense.
Rebel with the jackhammer. You can take that wall down.
No, I'm not going to touch the wall. I'm going to make my own money. Someone who decides to redo it can find that.
Don't give out your address and state in case you have crazy people coming to knock your wall down.
True, true. Well, they didn't confirm. So, like with what I do, I've never found money in any of the furniture, but I know people have found money in jewelry and all that stuff. But you've told me before that people ask where rings are.
They'll
Yeah.
ask for, I've been shown things like a lump under a carpet or what's there. For a dear friend of mine, I read after her mother passed, her mother knew she was passing for quite a while, but came through very soon after she died. I didn't believe it would happen because I thought they usually need to rest. She was obsessed with telling me there was something under the bed. My friend said when she looked under the bed, it was something they had borrowed from a neighbor. And her mother was insistent that they give it back to the neighbor. They had forgotten to give it back.
Yeah.
So it was something like as small as that, but it was important to that mother that it go back to where it rightfully belonged.
Sorry, daughter, nothing for you.
Not gold, diamonds, money.
What do you think is the most delicious thing about not fitting in?
The freedom to be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to swear, but you don't
Swear, please swear. What?
Okay, so you don't give a fiddlers or a flying fuck what anyone thinks about. And that's so freeing
Yeah.
just to be yourself.
Yeah.
and not allow someone to pull you down like the crabs in the bucket. People panic when someone from a group, and I'll say in a family system, friend system, when someone starts to grow and realizes, whoa, I need to grow bigger wings, I need to
Mm.
spread my wings further. The core group really don't want to lose that person, and they're doing it from their heart, but it's a disservice to pull them back down.
Yeah. I used to jump in the hole with people. And now I don't. I'll send a care package down. I'll be like, you can meet me over here when you figure out how to get out of there. Here's the ingredients. You told me to read a book, Dream Gate by Robert Moss, a while ago. And
Okay.
I read it. And I've always done dream work. I've always liked lucid dreaming and dream journals. It was the craziest dream I think I've ever had after this book, where I saw the devil.
Oh, wow.
He said, if I don't stop over giving to the wrong people, then I'm going to get sick. And it was me on two different dimensions. It almost felt like 2D. People were asking for parts of me, and I had just given them everything. And it basically drained my blood.
Yes.
And then I
Yes.
stayed on a lower vibrational plane than I needed to be at. So I woke up after that dream and I was like, nope, we are not dimming our light for anyone. We are not making ourselves small for anyone and everyone. And everything's going to be 50-50 or I'm not in.
That's so good, because you know what, when you think about the devil in tarot, about pointing to your addictions. So there was obviously some payoff from giving to others.
Mhm.
I'm a recovering people pleaser. I still
Yeah.
slide into it.
Yeah.
There's an addiction in that,
Mhm.
because you fawn to get the person's approval, and then you somewhat relax. And
Mhm.
so when the devil shows up, it's showing you what you might have addiction. Look
Yeah.
at your addictions in
Oh my God.
whatever
Yeah.
form.
It's so much easier to solve someone else's problem than face yourself, you know?
You said you send a care package down.
Yeah.
It goes back to what they were saying about the 5D.
Mhm.
You really need to live your own best life first and
Yeah.
focus on the people that are at that vibrational
Right.
level.
Yeah.
You can still care and send whatever care packages, prayers.
Uh,
You're not saying, get off me, I'd never want to see you. But it's with love and sort of putting yourself first.
mhm. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely hard to not feel narcissistic versus, you know what I mean? Like by putting more love into myself. And I'm like, wait, no, that's the best thing that you can do to love other people. You can only love other people as fully as you love yourself.
No.
So to actually help other people, I need to love myself.
It's easy to hear those words, it's hard to embody them. You need to take care of yourself first, because
Yeah.
society, if you're not giving, if you're not doing, what value do you have?
Right.
But you can give even more, you can be even more when you have taken care of yourself.
Yeah. When you have more to give, you don't always have that if you're not pouring into yourself and you're pouring into everyone else. Do you know about the human design?
I know a little bit about it.
I'm a projector, not to get into subjects not everyone knows. It just reminded me back to you saying that you need to be invited to share knowledge. That's actually the best that I can do for other people is wait for the invitation. That's what projectors are because we can see into people, but we're not
Yeah.
supposed to go in there unless invited. So I'm like emotionally or energetically penetrating people if they don't ask for me to give them advice.
Yeah.
As an
And
outspoken person, it hasn't been the easiest.
well, and also what I love is the podcast
Mhm.
is allowing you
It's
to
an
go out there.
invitation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
invitation to others. You're not forcing others. It's the way you feel comfortable putting what you know out in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Any last words from spirit guides, spirit realm, Akashic records, you, any?
Okay. They're showing me someone that will be really beneficial for you around. There's an area of the podcast publishing or something that You don't need to learn, they're saying, because there's someone that will help you. And the person that they're showing me that will help you has a very weird haircut. Very weird haircut. If this person shows up in your store or in your life, I'm saying, is this a male? Is this a female? They're not even showing me the gender. It could be that it's a non-gendered person, but it's someone that can help you with an area of the podcast that you don't need to be putting your energy into.
Okay.
So hold that lightly. Keep it in mind. It's not like you need to go out tomorrow, start looking for it.
Things come to
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the podcast grows, I think this will be an area that you're wanting to hand off to someone.
Yeah.
And they're showing me that there is a person that will come in.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't going to ask this, but now I have to because it's 222.
Okay.
What do you predict in my love life of this next chapter?
What I'm hearing is you are a magnet that you do not need to do any of the work. You just need to be you and allow, oh, okay, allow it to come in. They're showing me you as the magnet. And you know, like the magnet attracts a lot of things.
Yeah.
Be discerning of what it is you're attracting, because I think you will attract a lot. And in that attraction, because they're showing me like there's all these magnetic balls stuck to the magnet, and it's like choosing wisely, no, choosing intuitively what is right for you. In specifically, they're saying who is right for you. So it's around a time, and they're showing me like there's 4. So there must be 4 people to choose from. Anything else that they want to say about that? We can delve into this further, but they're saying choose the darkest one. Whether that means darkest hair,
Dark
darkest
humor.
skin, dark humor, because it feels like, oh, you know how they say like we need to embrace that side of us, invite in the darkness, but it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that the person is dark. It's a metaphor for, I don't want to say this. They're making me say this.
Say it. No filters.
Okay, so they're saying it's really kitschy. It's a completion for you. It's almost like a part of you that you've been pushing away. By bringing this person in, you're actually doing a soul retrieval. It's almost like it's a soul connection that you have shunned. And I'm asking, in this lifetime, in past lifetimes? You've shunned this soul connection. It is from a past lifetime where you were connected, but whatever happened in the past lifetime has made you cautious. This person will come in as a true soul connection, and you will know it, and there'll be a part of you, like either it's dark humor, dark hair, whatever. You're going to know it by the darkness, but it is almost like retrieving that part of your soul, bringing back so that you can become more complete with that part.
4 is crazy though. I thought I was going to have to choose between 2.
Well, you're the magnet. You can be less magnetic, I guess. You can turn off half of your sparkle. You know those Christmas trees that are only half lit? They serve a purpose. Just show the one side out to the world.
Oh, that was just my psychic intuition that there was like 2 coming.
Maybe you have to tone down your sparkle, girl.
No, I mean 4 is a good, like I need discernment. 4 sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll close the records after we close this record. Thank you so much for joining. I love you and appreciate you, and I can't wait to do this again with you. How can people book with you? What's your website? Do you want to give a discount code?
You can reach me at www.carolmclean.ca, and you can book directly on my website. Probably for 2025, you can use the code all caps friends 2025, and that will give you a 20% discount. I look forward to everyone that comes into my space because they're always beautiful people. So if this resonates for you and your soul will know, you'll reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
Carol's on the internet now, guys.
Thank you.
Thank God it exists now.
Yeah. And Zoom.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, crazy cronies. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Just wait and see what we have for you. Bye.